Joining us now from Fairfax, Virginia, is an excellent guest on this. Dr. Yun Sun is the director of the China program at the Stimson Center. All right, am I making any mistakes, doctor?
No, absolutely not, Bill. You are absolutely correct that the two countries are looking at a great opportunity. Whether they will capture it, that's a different question.
The mentality of the Chinese is different than the mentality of Americans. And they don't value individual freedom. They're going to do, she's got to, whatever she gets from Trump, he's got to sell it back in Beijing to the Chinese people. What do you think she wants the most?
Well, going into the negotiation or going into the meeting, I think the Chinese want two things. One, they want tariff reduction, because currently the U.S. tariff across the board on Chinese export to the United States is somewhere above 50%. The Chinese want to reduce that tariff in order to increase their export, so that's for sure. Most of the tariff, while we saw that from the Liberation Day, most of the 145% that was removed, but what has remained, this 50+%, remains to be a huge obstacle for China to increase its export. Just like you said, the Chinese need export to boost their economy. So this is number one. The second issue is what the Chinese have called the endless new trade restriction measures that the U.S. has been putting on China outside the scope of their agreement. Whether this was the agreement in Madrid or agreement from Geneva, the Chinese have perceived that these 50% rules, these 301 investigations, and these port fees that the Trump administration had been imposing on China, they want an end or a freeze of new trade measures on China. So those are the two things that the Chinese prioritize.
And it seems that they're doable because Donald Trump is flexible on tariffs, as we've seen, and if you give him something. Now, I'm going to tell you something that was very interesting in my meeting with the 13 Politburo members at the Beijing Club. They said, what do we have to do to get President Trump to agree to a fair trade agreement? They don't think what Trump is doing is fair. And I said, you got to give him something, first of all. And they were kind of all just went back like this. And the director of security in Beijing, oh boy, tough guy. He goes, well, what might that be? I said, you got to get out of the fentanyl business. And there was silence in the room. And I said, why are you in the fentanyl business? And the guy said, well, we don't make fentanyl, we make the precursors. I said, why are you doing that? What benefit is it to you and your people? You don't make that much money doing it. Hundreds of thousands, maybe millions of people all over the world are dying. Why do you want to be in that business? No, there was no pushback, no answer. So I assume that issues like that, excluding Taiwan, which has to be negotiated separately, not in this situation, but I assume that there'll be give in those kinds of things and that President Trump will give as well. You think that's going to happen?
I think that is going to happen because we know that whenever there is a leadership summit, the Chinese usually produce something in terms of the agreement. The question is, what does the trade-off looks like? What's the pros and cons? What's the gives and takes? Like you said, I don't think the Chinese actually care that much about the fentanyl precursors that they're exporting. They don't make that much money out of it, especially if you consider the trade the damage, the 20% tariff associated with fentanyl imposed on the Chinese products to export to the United States. So the Chinese got to know that the mathematics works in a way that they should give up the fentanyl business.
Yeah, and I think, and it helps their image because who wants to be associated with fentanyl? Does she want that on his resume? Homeowners, when is the last time you checked on your home title? If your answer is never, then this is for you. Scammers are stealing titles, and your equity is a target. Criminals forge your signature. Just like that, your home title can be transferred out of your name. That's why I partnered up with Home Title Lock, so you can find out today if you're already a victim. Please use my promo code BILL at HometitleLock.com, and you'll get a free title history report. Plus, you will get a free trial of their $1 million triple lock protection. That's 24/7 monitoring of your title, urgent alerts of any changes, And if fraud does happen, they'll spend up to $1 million to fix it. That's HomeTitleLock.com, promo code BILL. The final thing is Putin. So, because the doctor does watch the program, I'm blabbermouth, and you asked me, I'm going to tell you. And I said to him, well, why are you guys in business with Putin? What benefit is it for you to enable this guy, buy his oil, so that he can buy more arms to kill women and children in Ukraine? I mean, what good does that do Beijing? You could buy the oil from OPEC. Trump will sell you oil, all right, at a better price. So why are you doing this? Again, you don't get a lot of answers, and I didn't expect them. But I think Putin is going to come up, don't you?
I do think that Putin is going to come up, but I also think what China will deliver in terms of Russia is going to be limited. They probably will deliver something. If you look at the past week, I think the Chinese have already suspended their the oil import from from the sea. So the oil that they import from Russia through the sea. I think that is a precursor, or that's a preparation for some of the meetings that she will be having with President Trump. But on the other hand, I don't think the Chinese will cut off their oil trade and other transactions with Putin at all, because for the Chinese, they also have to be considerate of the fact, like you pointed out, that Putin is crazy. And when you live next door to a crazy big neighbor with one of the largest nuclear arsenals in the world, you have to calculate these steps very carefully. You're not going to give that neighbor everything, but you also have to give that neighbor something.
I don't know if Putin's a threat to China. That'd be the end of it for Putin. Russia can't even beat Ukraine. Not going to beat China. Hey, Doctor, we really appreciate your expertise. We'll hope you come back. One final question. Are you optimistic something good's going to come out this week?
Yes, I think we're going to look at a relatively positive outcome from the leadership summit in South Korea. What that looks like, we will have to look at the details.
Yeah, nobody can predict that. Appreciate it, Doctor.